So today we will discuss about Noetherian rings. So last few lectures we were discussing about Noetherian modules. Now we will focus on Noetherian rings and their properties. Okay. So if we quickly recall what is meant by Noetherian ring, if it satisfies, there are three equivalent conditions for a Noetherian module. So we say that a ring is Noetherian if when we consider it as a module, it should satisfy any one of those three conditions. So namely, every non-empty set of ideals in A has a maximal element, because submodules in a ring are nothing but ideals. Okay. Similarly, every ascending chain of ideals in A is stationary. So whenever you have an ascending chain or increasing chain of ideals, it should stop after some time. Then is same as saying that every ideal in A is finitely generated. So in terms of modules, every submodule is finitely generated. Okay, fine. So this, whenever we talk about Noetherian rings, that means any three of these we can use, right? Now, if we quickly see some of the properties, proofs are very easy to understand, which I have given already in the material. That if A is a Noetherian ring and phi is a ring homomorphism from A onto another ring B, then B is also Noetherian. So it says that a homomorphic image of a Noetherian ring is Noetherian. Okay. And the second one, that if A is a subring of B and A is Noetherian and B is finitely generated as A module, then we can say that B is Noetherian. So in general, if A is Noetherian and B is A be a subring of B, suppose that A is Noetherian and B is finitely generated A module, then B is Noetherian ring. That means we are talking about rings. Which rings are Noetherian if its subring is a Noetherian ring. Okay. So not every ring, if something is a Noetherian, then any ring containing this A need not be Noetherian, but if it is finitely generated over that ring, then it is Noetherian. Then the other one, which says that if A is a Noetherian ring and S is any multiplicatively closed subset of A, then the localization at S, which is S inverse A, is again Noetherian. So if we have a Noetherian ring and S is any multiplicatively closed subset of A, then S inverse A is always Noetherian. Okay. These are the some of the properties, and proofs are very easy to understand. Now we move on to Hilbert's basis theorem. Okay, which is one of the interesting result, and proofs require some explanation. Okay. So what this statement says is that if A is Noetherian, then consider the polynomial ring AX. It is also Noetherian. Okay. So if some ring is Noetherian, then we are getting here another Noetherian ring, which is namely polynomial ring. So whenever a ring is Noetherian, then its polynomial ring is also Noetherian. Okay. So with that, you can have number of examples. Whatever Noetherian rings you know, then by taking its polynomial ring, they are also Noetherian. So let's prove this. So if at all we want to prove this statement, we have to, here we are considering that our given ring A is Noetherian. We want to prove that the polynomial ring AX is Noetherian. Okay. So to prove that polynomial ring AX is Noetherian, we consider an ideal in that, and we will show that that ideal is finitely generated. So start with A is an ideal in AX. We show that A is finitely generated. Then that claims that AX is Noetherian. Okay. So we have taken a arbitrary ideal in A of X. We are going to prove that it is finitely generated. Okay. So first consider this set, the collection of consider the collection, you denote that by I, of leading coefficient of polynomials in A. So what is this set I? Consisting of you take any polynomial in the ideal A and take the coefficient, leading coefficient of that polynomial. That means this I is nothing but B will be here if there exists a polynomial f of x in A such that whose leading coefficient is B. That means your f of x is of the form b into x power m plus remaining lower terms, and this because B is a leading term of this polynomial f of x, which is a member of this ideal A. Therefore, we are taking this B here. So your I is nothing but whatever polynomials are there in your ideal A. For that polynomials, you take the leading coefficient, and that is the collection I. Okay, is that clear? Now we will show that this I is actually an ideal of A. So we show that this I is an ideal. So if we want to show that I is an ideal, take two elements A and B in I. We want to show that their difference or their sum is in I. Now because A and B are in I, what we know is that there exist two polynomial f of x and g of x whose leading coefficient is A and the leading coefficient of g is B. So you have f of x is equal to a x power m plus lower terms and g of x is b x power n plus lower terms. Then obviously we want to show that a plus b is in I. So whenever we want to show that a plus b is in I, that means we want to find a polynomial in A whose leading coefficient is a plus b. And obviously this is the polynomial h of x, which is nothing but x power n into f of x plus x power m into g of x. So if you multiply x power n to this A, then it is a into x power n plus n. And when you multiply x power m to g of x, it is b into x power m plus m. So a plus b will be there into x power m plus 1 and remaining all are lower terms. That shows that this h of x is a polynomial in A whose leading coefficient is a plus b. That means this a plus b is in I. So we have taken two elements and we shown that it is closed under addition. Then the other one is trivial, that if you take any element in I and a scalar from the ring A, then whatever leading coefficient is, whatever polynomial exists for this A, by multiplying r times 2, that you will get the required polynomial. That shows that AR belongs to I. Okay, that means we proved that I is an ideal of E. So if you go back, what we have seen is that we have considered an ideal A in A of x. Our aim is to prove that A is finitely generated. The set we have considered is the set of all leading coefficients of the polynomials coming from this ideal. Okay, remember this is an ideal in A of x. We are trying to get some ideal in A because A is given to be Noetherian. So if at all we get some ideal in A, then by definition we know that that ideal will be finitely generated. So that is the idea. So we are trying to form an ideal in A by using the fact that A is an ideal in A of x. Okay. So we have considered I as the leading coefficients of these polynomials. Then we shown that it is an ideal, right? Now, because it is given that A is Noetherian and I is an ideal of A, okay, then I is finitely generated because, so call it is generated by n elements A1, A2, A3, An. So this A1, A2, A3, An generates every element of I. Okay. Now where are these AIs are coming from? These are the leading coefficients of the polynomials coming from that ideal. That means as this AIs belongs to I, there exist polynomials, you can call it FIs from A, such that your FIs can be of this form whose leading coefficients is AI. So AI into x power Ri plus lower terms. Okay. Now we consider this R1, R2, Rn. Then we take R as the maximum of R1, R2, Rn. So among these powers, we are taking the maximum power, which you call it as R. Then we also consider A prime, which is an ideal in A of x, that is generated by these polynomials f1, f2, fn. Okay, and we also take a module M be an A module generated by this 1x up to x power r minus 1. So this r is the maximum power. So then take M, which is a module generated by 1x up to x power r minus 1. Okay, fine. Now what we show is, we show that our ideal A is nothing but generated by these two ideals, A intersection M plus A prime. Okay, so first we show this. Then if we prove that this A intersection M is finitely generated and A prime, we know already it is finitely generated, namely generated by these polynomials. Okay, so first we prove this A is nothing but sum of these two ideals, and we also prove that A intersection M is finitely generated. So therefore this will become finitely generated and we are done. Clearly A intersection M plus A prime is contained in A, because this A intersection M is contained in A, and A prime is obviously generated by only these polynomials f1, f2, fn, which are actually coming from that ideal E. Okay, so this A prime is actually a sub ideal generated by this one. Okay, now to show the other way, start with f is a polynomial belongs to A. Okay, so suppose say that f can be written as A into x power m plus remaining lower terms. That means the leading coefficient of f is A. So where will be this A will be now? That will be in the ideal I, because I contains all the leading coefficients of the polynomials which lies in this ideal. Okay, so now this A is in I, and we know that this I is finitely generated by these elements. So you can write A as summation, A can be written as summation ui ai from I is equal to 1 to n. Okay, then now you consider this, because f is degree m, if at all m is greater than or equal to r, that means if degree of m is greater than or equal to degree of whatever this r, okay, then we will try to find another polynomial whose degree will be less than that. How we will do that? So I repeat again, the degree of f is m here. Our intention is we should get polynomial whose degree is less than r, then it will belongs to m, because m is generated by 1 x2 up to x power r minus 1. Okay, so if at all this m is greater than or equal to r, then we construct a new polynomial f1, namely f minus summation ui x power m minus ri into fi. Okay, if you find the degree of this f1, definitely it will be less than m. That means why? Because in f, what is f? A into x power m. Okay, so because it is a into x power m, by substituting this value a here, what you get here is summation ui ai x power m. So here you have summation ai ui x power m. Now what is your fi? Your fi's are ai x power ri. So this x power ri and x power minus ri will get cancelled. So what is remaining here is also summation ui ai x power m. Okay, so that first term will be cancelled. Whatever you have is remaining terms, their degree less than m. Therefore your f1 is of degree m1, which is strictly less than m. Okay, so you denote this f1 as f minus h1, and you can observe that this fi, whatever this h1 we have here, that is obviously generated by these fi's. Okay, so this h1 belongs to this a prime, because a prime is generated by fi's, and your h1 is this, which is obviously generated by fi's. So therefore h1 belongs to the ideal a prime. Okay, now you take this f1 and repeat whatever we did for f. If at all degree of f1, which is m1, is greater than or equal to r, then by using similar arguments we get f2 we can write such that degree of F2 is less than M1 and F2 can be written as F1 minus some H2. Then again consider this M2. If M2 is greater than or equal to R, you repeat again. Okay. So by continuing this way, what we get is that we can write F as some G plus H. So if you go previously, for example, here, how you can write F as F1 plus H1. So if similarly, here you can write as F1 is equal to F2 plus H2. You substitute that here. So if you keep on substituting, you can write F as G plus H, where degree of G is less than R. Okay. And this H belongs to A prime. So what we have proved is that degree of G is less than R. So G belongs to A as well as M, because M is nothing but this M is module generated by 1 x2 up to x power R minus 1, and your G, degree of G is less than R. That means it is generated by 1 up to x power R minus 1, and hence G belongs to M. And G is anyhow coming from A. So therefore G belongs to A intersection M. So we have written our F as G plus H, where G belongs to A intersection M and H belongs to A prime. So therefore F, which is G plus H, belongs to A intersection M plus A prime. And where is our F? We have taken F from this A, and we shown that F is also belongs to this. That shows that every element here is also here. That proves that A is same as A intersection M plus A prime. Okay. Now, since A is Noetherian and M is finitely generated A module, we can get that M is Noetherian. This is the result which we have displayed earlier, that if M is finitely generated A module and A is Noetherian, then M is Noetherian. Okay. And also A intersection M is finitely generated because M is finitely generated. M is Noetherian. So if M is Noetherian, then any submodule is finitely generated. So we are getting that here A intersection M is finitely generated as a module. So you can call them as generators G1, G2, Gm. So this A intersection M is generated by G1, G2, Gm, and we know that A prime is generated by F1, F2, Fn. So therefore these together generates E. That shows that A is finitely generated ideal in A of X. So as A is arbitrary ideal, we prove that every ideal there is finitely generated, and hence A of X is Noetherian. So we prove that whenever a ring A is Noetherian, A of X is Noetherian. Okay. And not only A of X, as a corollary, you can claim even stronger statement that if A is Noetherian, so is A of x1, x2. That means it is a polynomial ring in n variables. And this proof you can all guess. It follows by simply mathematical induction. By the theorem, we know it is true for one variable. So assume that it is true for k minus 1 variables. Then you can obviously write A of k polynomial ring in k variable as A of x1, x2, xk minus 1, then adjoining x. Then you call this as simply B. So this is same as B of x. Now again, by assumption, this B, which is polynomial ring k minus 1 variables, is by assumption Noetherian. So B is Noetherian. Then by theorem, B of xk is Noetherian. That shows that A of x1, x2, xk is Noetherian. Okay. This is the Hilbert basis theorem, which says that whenever a ring is Noetherian, then its polynomial ring in n variables is also Noetherian.